Make it very difficult for you to get a job or go to America and things like that.
Well, of course. I mean, in the short term, maybe you get yourself a free flat screen TV, but in the long term, as you say, you get a criminal record, you can't migrate to America, and you're ruining your community. You're ruining the opportunities for your community, and maybe your mum, your more law-abiding brothers and sisters. These looters need to understand the problems they're creating for themselves and their community.
But I mean, you know, with that in mind, of course, nevertheless, the people doing that, we're looking at some of the pictures, there are so many of them. I mean, they have no concerns and no connection with the police, or indeed we talk a lot about the community, but clearly these are people who don't feel themselves, for whatever reason, to be part of the community.
I think you'll find that almost all of those people have mums, they have families, they have mums who go to church. Overall, these are law-abiding communities. That's why I'm saying the communities need to stand up and stamp out this epidemic of copycat looting. But I would say this, I have every sympathy for the police, but I know Tottenham Hale Shopping Centre, I know Wood Green Shopping Centre, they're quite close to me. And I was astonished that people are allowed to loot freely, not for 10 minutes, not for half an hour, but for hours and hours. I do not understand why the police allowed it to happen.
So would you say to the police, well, you know, it's more important to I mean, it seems, you know, judging for what they're saying, it's more important to concentrate on the rioting or the looting. I mean, in the case of Tottenham, they had a major disturbance there, and then there was these breakaway groups and other groups forming who then, as you say, went to that shopping centre, that retail park in Tottenham Hale. Very difficult in the heat of the moment for the police to react.
Come on, the Metropolitan Police is one of the biggest police forces in the world. The idea they could not be in two places at once, that they could not be in Tottenham, but also in Wood Green Shopping Centre, is not a credible idea.
Well, I mean, as I say, you know, this is what we're hearing from the police. Talking to a former officer, though. Well, let's explore that even more. Talking to a former officer, he says, obviously, with his contacts still within the police, a lot of them are demotivated. Morale's taken a hit because of the cuts they're facing.
Well, they may be demotivated, but they're still paid to do a job. And I repeat, the notion the police couldn't deal with the riots in Tottenham, but also step in to stop looting in Wood Green Shopping Centre, which took place for hours. It wasn't just a very short interlude. It took place for hours. The idea they couldn't be in two places at once, that is just not a credible idea.
So do you think, I mean, clearly the Mark Duggan shooting is being investigated by the IPCC. Do you think this is an issue for investigation, or certainly discussions, at least between the Home Secretary, who's flying back today, and senior Met officers?
I think the Home Secretary needs to ask senior Met officers why they allowed people to loot completely unhindered. People looted, went away and came back again. Why people were allowed to loot completely unhindered for hours in big shopping centres in North London. She also needs to ask senior police officers why the Duggan family had to stand in a vigil for 5 hours outside Tottenham Police Station with nobody senior from the Met Police and nobody senior from the IPCC coming to see them, coming to talk to them, coming to reason with them.
And I mean, as things move on, as we saw the violence spreading, the looting spreading last night to many other areas. Difficult night again tonight, a night of nerves, a night of tension. Your message then on the policing issue is for the Met to get the officers, and from other forces who've been helping them out, to get out there on the streets.
The community needs to say very clearly to some of these young criminal elements, the looting has to stop, and the police have to be there in force on the streets tonight and for however many nights it takes to bring this epidemic of copycat looting to an end.
Diane Abbott, thank you very much indeed.